Most people try to heal their financial system through treating symptoms. But here's the reality. Values and beliefs are tied to speech and thought, which are tied to action and behavior. So why would you jump to the end, address the end, and then be surprised when things don't work out? See, at generational growth, we do things differently. We start with the end in mind and then backtrack and create a system to align with your why. Let's get into it in today's whiteboard video. As mentioned before, at generational growth, we start with the end in mind and then backtrack to create the system that'll get us there in the most optimal way. So let's use our stick figure here. We have Austin, and then we always start with the end in mind. So we start with our why, which is essentially our mission statement. And then under that, we have our financial goal. So this is how much money we're trying to accumulate and by when. And then what's very helpful is to align your values. And essentially what your values do, they act as a left and right limit to help contain the amount of options that you have when you're pursuing your why. For me, my values are genuine care, respect, purpose, ownership, balance, failure, and the contemplation of mortality. So because I have a firm understanding of who I am and what I'm trying to work towards and by when, it's going to be way easier to pursue that path because I don't have to deal with so many different options. But even so, within this channel, there's going to be several different options that you could pursue. But because you did the work on the front end, the path that you were meant to go down will naturally illuminate and guide you towards your mission statement in the most efficient manner. But if you don't do this work on the front end, you're met with so many different options that could happen outside of this, and you'll waste your time spinning your wheels. So I'm going to peel back a layer here and tie this into the concept of generational growth. When I was analyzing how I could get to my why the most efficient way, the apparent way that became noticeable to me was the turnkey model. See, I'm a very passive investor. I don't have the most time because my passion's in martial arts and different commitments. So I needed a way to get me to my why in a very efficient and hands-off way. So let's break this down and what this looks like inside the generational growth cycle. So up top, we have our leverage system. It's really important to notice here that infinite banking is a process, not a product. It just so happens that whole life is one of the most optimal ways that you could implement this generational growth cycle. So we're going to leverage from our whole life policy and buy assets, specifically cash flowing assets. That cash flow is then going to go back into the policy, pay off the interest that we took from that policy, and we're going to repeat the cycle. But let's pause for a second here and look at the network piece, which is pillar 2 of the generational growth cycle. So you don't need to waste your time spinning your wheels trying to find the right cash flowing asset when you already have a trusted network that could set you up. It's also important to note here that whole life may not be for you, and that's okay. You could still get real value inside the system by using the network piece inside of generational growth. So I hope you enjoyed this breakdown. I'd love to hear what you're up to and what your strategy is. Drop it in the comments, and if you're interested in learning more, reach out to me at Generational Growth Co.